Hi, I'm Nipuni and today we'll be talking about how to accept our emotions. We've all had those moments where we think of ourselves and our circumstance and we think, gosh, wouldn't it be easier if I were a different person so that my circumstance might change? For example, if your anger always gets the better of you, then you might want to be a more calm person. So your situation doesn't always get you feeling feelings of regret after an argument with someone. We can give the negative impulsive aspect of ourselves the emotion of anger, and the reflective part of ourselves the emotion of regret. Labeling the emotion in this way is a helpful way to get past our entanglement with the emotion. Entanglement with your emotion will often cause you to feel confused and conflicted inside. When we are entangled with the feeling of anger and regret, we lose sight of the opportunity for self-reflection and the opportunity to assess the circumstance or situation. I often think of the movie Inside Out, where the emotions in the young protagonist's mind were given labels or names, such as joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. These characters that portrayed the girl's emotions had a way of reacting to the same situation in different ways.
Very nice. Okay, looks like you got this. Very good. Oh, that's her turn. Oh, look out!
That's fear. He's really good at keeping Riley safe.
Easy, easy, huh? Come back! Oh, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're back.
Here we go. All right, open.
This looks new.
Think it's safe?
What is it?
Okay, caution. There is a dangerous smell, people. Hold on, what is that?
This is disgust. She basically keeps Riley from being poisoned, physically and socially.
That is not brightly colored or shaped like a dinosaur. Hold on, guys. It's broccoli! Yeah! Well, I just saved our lives. Yeah, you're welcome.
Riley, if you don't eat your dinner, you're not going to get any dessert.
Wait, did he just say we couldn't have dessert?
That's anger. He cares very deeply about things being fair.
So that's how you want to play it, old man? No dessert? Oh, sure. We'll eat our dinner right after you eat this.
Riley, here comes an airplane.
Oh, airplane. We got an airplane, everybody.
And you've met Sadness. She... I'm not actually sure what she does. And I've checked, there's no place for her to go, so she's good. We're good. It's all great.
The beauty of this movie is that you can see the attitude of the emotions through the animation. All these emotions existed inside the young girl's mind, just like ours do too. It was interesting to see how dysfunctional the girl's situation got when the emotions chose not to work together.
So, how are we gonna get to Minnesota from here?
Well, why don't we go down to the elephant lot and rent an elephant?
Hey, that sounds nice.
We're taking the bus, nitwit! There's a bus leaving tomorrow. Perfect.
A ticket costs money. How do we get money?
Mom's purse.
You wouldn't.
Oh, but I would. We're attitude. Oh, I'll show you attitude, okay?
No. Stay happy!
She did not just say that.
A new girl? Meg has a new friend already?
Hey, stay happy. We do not want to lose any more islands here, guys.
We can pass the puck to each other without even looking. It's like mind reading.
You like to read minds, Meg? I got something for you to read right here.
Let's just be copper. What's that?
Here they have parrots.
I gotta go.
What?
I gotta go.
That's it!
No. Breathe. Find your happy place. We did it, gang! It's working! Oh!
It's like we don't learn anything.
In the end, they all realized that when the emotions integrate and work together, they are able to help the young girl have a more rounded view of her experiences. And remember, certain bad parts of her experience are essential to her growth and understanding of what it truly means to be happy. Like the young girl in the movie, we all have emotions in us that we can view as extensions of ourselves. We can almost animate them in our minds to the extent that we are able to perceive them as separate enough from ourselves that we don't get entangled with it. When we are able to view our emotions objectively like a friend who exists within us and reveals themselves every so often, we can look at our emotion and acknowledge it as we do a friend. Going back to our earlier example of feeling anger at a certain situation or circumstance, or even anger towards something someone has said, we can use the technique of viewing anger as part of ourselves that has chosen to show itself at this time. Through doing this, we can become aware that the aspect of ourselves that is anger has stepped forward to assess the situation that has presented itself. Usually a situation that triggers anger to show itself is one that presents a threat to our identity and pride. In this case, pride will also show itself to us, as pride is also an aspect of ourselves, like every other emotion is. If we imagine and view our emotions as characters, just like in the movie Inside Out, we'll be able to unentangle ourselves from the emotion enough to acknowledge them. In the case of our example, when pride gets hurt, anger instantly and reactively stands up for pride. It shields pride from getting any more hurt than it already is. And then the character of sorrow comes along and picks pride up and gives it a hug, while hope pushes its way forward to promise pride that tomorrow will be a better day. In this way, when our emotions flare up, if we can view them as aspects of ourselves that are presenting themselves to us constantly, then we can invite them to exist within us, because they're not here to harm us, but to help us recognize how we feel about the world. They are sort of like little mini-me's of us, dressed in different colors. You could equate these colors to a rainbow. We are made up of all the colors of the rainbow, and when all the colors of the rainbow come together, we are white, and white is the sum of all of our emotions. When we hear of people's emotional bodies being scarred, this usually means that there are aspects of the person's emotions that the person has closed the door of their spirit on. They've been told somewhere in their life that they don't need to acknowledge their emotions, because it will bring them misfortune or taint their well-cultivated spiritual image. Many people who regard themselves as spiritual often fall into the trap of disregarding their negative emotions, for fear that these negative emotions will get the better of them, and fear that they won't be able to exemplify a persona that compares with the spiritual teacher that they follow. All spiritual teachers say that you must love yourself first and foremost. This means every single part of you. If we were beings that didn't feel anger, frustration, hatred, and jealousy, then why do people still feel these emotions? Within the secrecy of their mind, people feel these emotions every day, yet hide them so that they aren't perceived as bad people. Of course, no one wants to be perceived as a bad person, so they just don't act on these emotions. But even if the emotion is not expressed in action, we must acknowledge that the emotion is there nevertheless. We must let the emotion know that it is seen and that it is heard, and that it is allowed to exist in our energetic and emotional field, so that it is not rejected and made to feel like it is invisible. Treating an emotion is much the same as treating yourself. We all know the saying, treat someone the way that you would want to be treated. The same goes for your emotions. Treat your emotions the way that you wish others would treat you, with kindness, love, appreciation, and understanding. If it wasn't for your emotions, you wouldn't feel alive. You wouldn't feel like you were here. Suppressing your emotion is when you feel numb, because you've closed the door on the emotion and you have refused to feel it. So, in the absence of the feeling sensation of the emotion is numbness. In my own experience, acknowledging and treating my emotions as a friend has been life-changing. As my consciousness shifts, I am constantly presented with aspects of myself that I am required to get to know in order to proceed and progress in my life. So what's a technique that you can use to start to get to see and get to know your own emotions, and in turn yourself? When an aspect of yourself or emotion is felt, you can first of all bring in the awareness that it is there. It is helpful to see your emotion as a mini-me of yourself and acknowledge it as another person. Then, just let it be there. With negative emotion, the first few times you do this, you might feel an outburst coming on or feel like screaming or crying. The best way not to get entangled with the emotion is to just feel it and not jump on the train of thought that comes with the emotion. As you practice it, it will get easier. When you do this for some time, what you'll find is that the emotion will integrate with you and seem to become one with you. The practice of feeling your emotion will eventually cause you to feel lighter and blissful. Who thought negative emotion can make you feel blissful, right? If you stay with the blissful feeling and slowly introduce the situation that caused you to feel the negative emotion back into your mind while staying with the feeling of bliss, you'll find that your perspective of the situation that brought the negative emotion will change. Often doing this will energetically shift you out of the energy that attracted the negative situation and into an energy that attracts more situations that mirror self-love. Just like we breathe oxygen and eat every day to keep our physical bodies alive and healthy, we need to allow our emotions to integrate and come together in our emotional bodies to keep the emotional body healthy and vibrant. You are more whole than you think. Take care of your emotions and you will show yourself a life more magical than you've ever known. Feel rather than think, know rather than do. And I'll see you next time.